In this science experiment, I'm going to try and teach you how to make a rainbow using colored water and sugar. Now remember, this is a science experiment, so we're going to have to see if this worked or didn't. Here are the materials you're going to need. You're going to need sugar, water, spoon, and a straw, or if you have it at home, a water dropper. Make sure each glass is the same amount of warm water before you pour in your sugar packets.
I'm now going to add 2 drops of food coloring. Get the colors and stir. And continue to do that for each cup of water. Here's a tip. If you want to avoid mixing colors, have a napkin to wipe your spoon in between stirring the food coloring. Also, the water is going to probably cool down a little bit and you want it to be warm water. So you can just put it in the microwave for 5 or 10 seconds and that should heat right back up.
Starting with red, you're going to do 1 tablespoon of sugar or 1 packet. And for each color, add 1 tablespoon or 1 packet of sugar so that you will see how we can build our rainbow. I taped some paper towel to the back of my glass so you can see the color. And now I am slowly pouring in the blue water. Now I am going to carefully pour in using a water dropper or a straw. I have a straw here. I am pouring in some of that green water, trying to see if it will float on top of my blue water. You have to do this very carefully. And look, can you see the green water is ever so slightly floating on top of the blue water. Now here is where I got into trouble. I tried to put the yellow water next, but if you watch carefully, the yellow water was having a hard time trying to float on top of the blue-green water that is now mixed together. As you can see, I'm still struggling to get the yellow to float on top of the water. Plus, the blue and green has now morphed into a seafoam color. I'm going to try now and see if anything will happen if I add the red water. The red water had the least amount of sugar, so let's see what happens. Oh, it definitely sinks, and it definitely, well, what do you think? When all else fails, it's fun to play around with the colors that you have. I'm trying to mix the red and yellow to make orange, so let's see what happens. I'm pouring in both colors and, well, it doesn't look very orange to me, but I sure had a lot of fun adding in the green to create, well, a monster color.
It's important to remember that not all of your science experiments are going to turn out the way that you want them to. But that's also what makes a science experiment, well, an experiment. Because experiments are all about trial and error. That means you practice and see what happens, and if it works, great, or if it doesn't work, you try something different. Maybe next time I need to have warmer water, maybe use even more sugar for certain colors, or maybe I just need to do a much better job of stirring. I don't know. I'm going to have to try out all these new theories to see if I ever get these colors to float. Let me know if you try it at home and if it works for you. But if it doesn't, you can always make a monster color like me.